Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. I became sick, so Allah's Messenger peace be upon him and Abu Bakr came on foot to pay me a visit. When they came, I was unconscious. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him performed ablution and he poured over me the water of his ablution, and I came to my senses and said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, what shall I do regarding my property? How shall I distribute it? The Prophet peace be upon him did not reply till the divine verses of inheritance were revealed. Narrated by Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, beware of suspicion, for it is the worst of false tales, and don't look for the other's faults, and don't spy, and don't hate each other, and don't desert, cut your relations with one another. O Allah's slaves, be brothers. Narrated by Aisha. Fatima and Al-Abbas came to Abu Bakr, seeking their share from the property of Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, and at that time, they were asking for their land at Fadak and their share from Khaybar. Abu Bakr said to them, I have heard from Allah's Messenger peace be upon him saying, our property cannot be inherited, and whatever we leave is to be spent in charity, but the family of Muhammad may take their provisions from this property. Abu Bakr added, by Allah, I will not leave the procedure I saw Allah's Messenger peace be upon him following during his lifetime concerning this property. Therefore Fatima left Abu Bakr and did not speak to him till she died. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet peace be upon him said, our apostles, property should not be inherited, and whatever we leave, is to be spent in charity. Narrated by Malik bin Aus, I went and entered upon Umar, his doorman. Yarfa came saying, Uthman, Abdurrahman, Az-Zubair and Sad are asking your permission to see you. May I admit them? Umar said, yes. So he admitted them. Then he came again and said, may I admit Ali and Abbas? He said, yes. Abbas said, O chief of the believers, judge between me and this man, Ali. Umar said, I beseech you by Allah, by whose permission both the heaven and the earth exist, do you know that Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, the apostles, property will not be inherited, and whatever we leave, after our death, is to be spent in charity. And by that Allah's Messenger peace be upon him meant himself. The group said, no doubt, he said so. Umar then faced Ali and Abbas and said, do you both know that Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said that? They replied, no doubt, he said so. Umar said, so let me talk to you about this matter. Allah favored his apostle with something of this fai, means booty won by the Muslims at war without fighting, which he did not give to anybody else. Allah said, as for the gains Allah has turned over to his messenger from them, you did not even spur on any horse or camel for such gains. But Allah gives authority to his messengers over whoever he wills. For Allah is most capable of everything. Surah 59 verse 6, and so that property was only for Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. Yet, by Allah, he neither gathered that property for himself nor withheld it from you, but he gave its income to you, and distributed it among you, till there remained the present property, out of which the Prophet peace be upon him used to spend the yearly maintenance for his family, and whatever used to remain, he used to spend it where Allah's property is spent, in charity etc. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him followed that throughout his life. Now I beseech you by Allah, do you know all that? They said, yes. Umar then said to Ali and Abbas, I beseech you by Allah, do you know that? Both of them said, yes. Umar added, and when the Prophet peace be upon him died, Abu Bakr said, I am the successor of Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, and took charge of that property, and managed it in the same way as Allah's Messenger peace be upon him did. Then I took charge of this property for 2 years, during which I managed it as Allah's Messenger peace be upon him and Abu Bakr did. Then you both, Ali and Abbas, came to talk to me, bearing the same claim and presenting the same case. O Abbas! You came to me asking for your share from the property of your nephew, and this man, Ali, came to me, asking for the share of his wife from the property of her father. I said, if you both wish, I will give that to you on that condition, that you would follow the way of the Prophet peace be upon him, and Abu Bakr, and as I, Umar, have done in managing it. Now both of you seek of me a verdict other than that. Lo! By Allah, by whose permission both the heaven and the earth exist, I will not give any verdict other than that till the hour is established. If you are unable to manage it, then return it to me, and I will be sufficient to manage it on your behalf. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, not even a single dinar of my property should be distributed, after my deaths, to my inheritors, but whatever I leave, excluding the provision for my wives and my servants, should be spent in charity. Narrated by Urwa. Aisha said, when Allah's Messenger peace be upon him died, his wives intended to send Uthman to Abu Bakr asking him for their share of the inheritance. Then Aisha said to them, didn't Allah's Messenger peace be upon him say, our apostles, property is not to be inherited, and whatever we leave is to be spent in charity. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet peace be upon him said, I am more closer to the believers than their own selves, so whoever of them dies while being in debt and leaves nothing for its repayment, then we are to pay his debts on his behalf, and whoever among the believers dies leaving some property, then that property is for his heirs. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet peace be upon him said, give the Fara'id, the shares of the inheritance that are prescribed in the Quran, to those who are entitled to receive it. Then whatever remains, should be given to the closest male relative of the deceased. Narrated by Sa'd bin Abu Waqqas. I was stricken by an ailment that led me to the verge of death. The Prophet peace be upon him came to pay me a visit. I said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him! I have much property and no heir except my single daughter. Shall I give 2/3 of my property in charity? He said, no. I said, half of it? He said, no. I said, O net heard of it? He said, you may do so, though 1/3 is also too much, for it is better for you to leave your offspring wealthy than to leave them poor, asking others for help. And whatever you spend, for Allah's sake, you will be rewarded for it, even for a morsel of food which you may put in the mouth of your wife. I said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him! Will I remain behind and fail to complete my emigration? The Prophet peace be upon him said, if you are left behind after me, whatever good deeds you will do for Allah's sake, that will upgrade you and raise you high. Maybe you will have long life so that some people may benefit by you and others, the enemies, be harmed by you. But Allah's Messenger peace be upon him felt sorry for Sa'd bin Khawla as he died in Mecca. Sufyan, a sub-narrator, said that Sa'd bin Khawla was a man from the tribe of Bani Amir bin Lu'ay. Narrated by Al-Aswad bin Yazid. Mu'ad bin Jabal came to us in Yemen as a tutor and a ruler, and we, the people of Yemen, asked him about the distribution of the property of a man who had died leaving a daughter and a sister. Mu'ad gave the daughter 1/2 of the property and gave the sister the other half. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, give the Fara'id, shares prescribed in the Quran, to those who are entitled to receive it, and whatever remains, should be given to the closest male relative of the deceased. Narrated by Huzail bin Shirabal. Abu Musa was asked regarding the inheritance of a daughter, a son's daughter, and a sister. He said, the daughter will take 1/2 and the sister will take 1/2. If you go to Ibn Mas'ud, he will tell you the same. Ibn Mas'ud was asked and was told of Abu Musa's verdict. Ibn Mas'ud then said, if I give the same verdict, I would stray and would not be of the rightly guided. The verdict I will give in this case, will be the same as the Prophet peace be upon him did, means 1/2 is for daughter, and 1/6 for the son's daughter, means both shares make 2/3 of the total property, and the rest is for the sister. Afterwards we came to Abu Musa and informed him of Ibn Mas'ud's verdict, whereupon he said, so, do not ask me for verdicts, as long as this learned man is among you. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet peace be upon him said, give the fara'id, the shares prescribed in the Quran, to those who are entitled to receive it, and then whatever remains, should be given to the closest male relative of the deceased. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The person about whom Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, if I were to take a Khalil from this nation, my followers, then I would have taken him, means Abu Bakr, but the Islamic Brotherhood is better, or said, good, regarded a grandfather as the father himself, in inheritance. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. During the early days of Islam, the inheritance used to be given to one's offspring and legacy used to be bequeathed to the parents. Then Allah cancelled what he wished from that order and decreed that the male should be given the equivalent of the portion of 2 females, and for the parents 1/6 for each of them, and for one's wife 1/8, if the deceased has children, and 1/4, if he has no children, for one's husband 1/2, if the deceased has no children, and 1/4, if she has children. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him gave the judgment that a male or female slave should be given in qisas for an abortion case of a woman from the tribe of Bani Liyan, as blood money for the fetus, but the lady on whom the penalty had been imposed died, so the prophets ordered that her property be inherited by her offspring and her husband and that the penalty be paid by her asaba. Narrated by Al-Aswad. Mu'ad bin Jabal gave this verdict for us in the lifetime of Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, 1/2 of the inheritance is to be given to the daughter and the other half to the sister. Sulayman said, Mu'ad gave a verdict for us, but he did not mention that it was so in the lifetime of Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. Narrated by Huzail. Abdullah said, the judgment I will give in this matter will be like the judgment of the Prophet, means 1/2 is for the daughter and 1/6 for the son's daughter and the rest of the inheritance for the sister. Narrated by Jabir. While I was sick, the Prophet peace be upon him entered upon me and asked for some water to perform ablution, and after he had finished his ablution, he sprinkled some water of his ablution over me, whereupon I became conscious and said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, I have sisters. Then the divine verses regarding the laws of inheritance were revealed. Narrated by Al-Bara. The last Quranic verse that was revealed, to the Prophet, was the final verse of Surat An-Nisa, means they ask you for a legal verdict say, Allah directs, thus, about those who leave no descendants or ascendants as heirs. Surah 4 verse 176. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, I am more closer to the believers than their own selves, so whoever among them dies leaving some inheritance, his inheritance will be given to his asaba, and whoever dies leaving a debt or dependents or destitute children, then I am their supporter. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet peace be upon him said, give the fara'id, the shares of the inheritance that are prescribed in the Quran, to those who are entitled to receive it, and whatever is left should be given to the closest male relative of the deceased. Narrated by Ibn Abbas, regarding the holy verse, and to everyone, we have appointed heirs, Surah 4 verse 33, and also, to those also to whom your right hands have made a pledge, brotherhood, give them their due portion by, wasiyah or wills. Surah 4 verse 33, when the emigrants came to Medina, the Ansar used to be the heir of the emigrants, and vice versa, instead of their own kindred by blood, Dal el-Arham, and that was because of the bond of brotherhood which the Prophet peace be upon him had established between them, means, between the Ansar and the emigrants. But when the divine verse, and to everyone, we have appointed heirs, Surah 4 verse 33, was revealed, it cancelled the other order, means, to those also, to whom your right hands have made a pledge, brotherhood, give them their due portion, by wasiyah or wills, Surah 4 verse 33. Narrated by Ibn Umar. A man and his wife had a case of li'an, or mulana, during the lifetime of the Prophet peace be upon him, and the man denied the paternity of her child. The Prophet peace be upon him gave his verdict for their separation, divorce, and then the child was regarded as belonging to the wife only. Narrated by Aisha. Utbah bin Abu Waqtas said to his brother Sad, the son of the slave girl of Zama is my son, so be his custodian. So when it was the year of the conquest of Mecca, Sad took that child and said, he is my nephew, and my brother told me to be his custodian. On that, Abu bin Zama got up and said, but the child is my brother, and the son of my father's slave girl as he was born on his bed. So they both went to the Prophet. Sad said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. This is, the son of my brother and he told me to be his custodian. Then Abu bin Zama said, but he is, my brother and the son of the slave girl of my father, born on his bed. The Prophet peace be upon him said, this child is for you. O Abu bin Zama, as the child is for the owner of the bed, and the adulterer receives the stones. He then ordered, his wife, Sauda bint Zama to cover herself before that boy as he noticed the boy's resemblance to Utbah. Since then the boy had never seen Sauda till he died. Narrated by Abu Huraira. The Prophet peace be upon him said, the boy is for the owner of the bed. Narrated by Aisha. I bought Barira, a female slave. The Prophet peace be upon him said to me, buy her as the wala is for the monument. Once she was given a sheep, in charity. The Prophet peace be upon him said, the sheep is a charitable gift for her, Barira, and a gift for us. Al-Hakam said, Barira's husband was a free man. Ibn Abbas said, when I saw him, he was a slave. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet peace be upon him said, the wala is for the monument, of the slave. Narrated by Abdullah. The Muslims did not free slaves as Sibah, but the people of the pre-Islamic period of ignorance used to do so. Narrated by Al-Aswad. Aisha bought Barira in order to manumit her, but her masters stipulated that her wala, after her death, would be for them. Aisha said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. I have bought Barira in order to manumit her, but her masters stipulated that her wala will be for them. The Prophet peace be upon him said, manumit her as the wala is for the one who manumits the slave or said, the one who pays her price. Then Aisha bought and manumit her. After that, Barira was given the choice by the Prophet to stay with her husband or leave him. She said, if he gave me so much and so much money I would not stay with him. Al-Aswad added, her husband was a free man. The sub-narrator added, the series of the narrators of Al-Aswad's statement is incomplete. The statement of Ibn Abbas, means when I saw him he was a slave, is more authentic. Narrated by Ali. We have no book to recite except the Book of Allah, Quran, and this paper. Then Ali took out the paper, and behold, there was written in it, legal verdicts about the retaliation for wounds, the ages of the camels, to be paid as zakat or as blood money. In it was also written, Medina is a sanctuary from air, mountain, to Thor, mountain. So whoever innovates in it an heresy, something new in religion, or commits a crime in it or gives shelter to such an innovator, will incur the curse of Allah, the angels, and all the people, and none of his compulsory or optional good deeds will be accepted on the day of resurrection. And whoever, a freed slave, takes as his master, means befriends, some people other than his real masters without the permission of his real masters, will incur the curse of Allah, the angels, and all the people, and none of his compulsory, or optional good deeds will be accepted on the day of resurrection. And the asylum granted by any Muslim is to be secured by all the Muslims, even if it is granted by one of the lowest social status among them, and whoever betrays a Muslim, in this respect will incur the curse of Allah, the angels, and all the people, and none of his compulsory or optional good deeds will be accepted on the day of resurrection. Narrated by Ibn Umar. The Prophet peace be upon him forbade the selling of the walla, of slaves, or giving it as a present. Narrated by Ibn Umar. That Aisha, the mother of the believers, intended to buy a slave girl in order to manumit her. The slave girl's master said, we are ready to sell her to you on the condition that her walla should be for us. Aisha mentioned that to Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, who said, this condition should not prevent you from buying her, for the walla is for the one who manumits the slave. Narrated by Al-Aswad. Aisha said, I bought Barara and her masters stipulated that the walla would be for them. Aisha mentioned that to the Prophet peace be upon him, and he said, manumit her, as the walla is for the one who gives the silver, means pays the price for freeing the slave. Aisha added, so I manumit her. After that, the Prophet called her, Barara, and gave her the choice to go back to her husband or not. She said, if he gave me so much and so much money I would not stay with him. So she selected her own self, means refused to go back to her husband. Narrated by Ibn Umar. When Aisha intended to buy Barara, she said to the Prophet, Barara's masters stipulated that they will have the walla. The Prophet peace be upon him said, to Aisha, buy her, as the walla is for the one who manumits. Narrated by Aisha. Allah's Messenger peace be upon him said, the walla is for the one who gives the silver, pays the price, and does the favor, of manumission after paying the price. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet peace be upon him said, the freed slave belongs to the people who have freed him, or said something similar. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet peace be upon him said, the son of the sister of some people is from them or from their own selves. Narrated by Abu Huraira. The Prophet peace be upon him said, if somebody dies, among the Muslims, leaving some property, the property will go to his heirs, and if he leaves a debt or dependents, we will take care of them. Narrated by Usama bin Zayd. The Prophet peace be upon him said, a Muslim cannot be the heir of a disbeliever, nor can a disbeliever be the heir of a Muslim. Narrated by Aisha. Sa'd bin Abu Waqqas and Abu bin Zama had a dispute over a boy. Sa'd said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, this boy is the son of my brother, Utbah bin Abu Waqtas, who told me to be his custodian as he was his son. Please notice to whom he bears affinity. And Abu bin Zama said, This is my brother, O Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him. He was born on my father's bed by his slave girl. Then the Prophet, peace be upon him, looked at the boy and noticed evident resemblance between him and Utbah, so he said, the boy, is for you, O Abu bin Zama, for the boy is for the owner of the bed, and the stone is for the adulterer. Screen yourself before the boy, O Sauda bint Zama. Aisha added, since then he had never seen Sauda. Narrated by Sad. I heard the Prophet, peace be upon him, saying, whoever claims to be the son of a person other than his father, and he knows that person is not his father, then paradise will be forbidden for him. I mentioned that to Abu Bakr, and he said, my ears heard that and my heart memorized it from Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him. Narrated by Abu Huraira. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, do not deny your fathers, means claim to be the sons of persons other than your fathers, and whoever denies his father, is charged with disbelief. Narrated by Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, said, there were two women with whom there were their two sons. A wolf came and took away the son of one of them. That lady said to her companion, the wolf has taken your son. The other said, but it has taken your son. So both of them sought the judgment of the Prophet David, who judged that the boy should be given to the older lady. Then both of them went to the Prophet Solomon, son of David, and informed him of the case. Solomon said, give me a knife so that I may cut the child into two portions and give one half to each of you. The younger lady said, do not do so, may Allah bless you. He is her child. On that, he gave the child to the younger lady. Abu Huraira added, by Allah, I had never heard the word sakin as meaning knife, except on that day, for we used to call it mutya. Narrated by Aisha. Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, once entered upon me in a very happy mood, with his features glittering with joy, and said, O Aisha, won't you see that Mujazz, a kaif, looked just now at Zayd bin Haritha and Usama bin Zayd and said, these feet, of Usama and his father, belong to each other. Narrated by Aisha. Once Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, entered upon me and he was in a very happy mood and said, O Aisha, don't you know that Mujazz al-Mudlaji entered and saw Usama and Zayd with a velvet covering on them, and their heads were covered while their feet were uncovered? He said, these feet belong to each other.